When Petrarch went up Mount Venu in 1336, he claimed that it was the first time that anyone had ascended a mountain purely for the hell of it, or shall we say, the heaven of it, the spiritual ecstasy, to see what he could see, for the pure pleasure of it, since antique times, since the ancient Greeks and Romans. Is this the beginning of the Renaissance? He's referencing antiquity, and he's saying in the past it was better and we should manifest the past, and so it's probably the earliest manifestation of the Renaissance, probably really out of the Ars Nova, the new art. And yet, much in this new summit seems to bespeak the older generations. But just how spiritually reborn and intellectually reborn can you be when the Black Death is continuing to rage through Europe, turning some people towards spiritual songs, including the Geisslerlied, including those penitentes who were known as the flagellants, and you got to say that carefully, but they would whip themselves to show their penance. And they also did other unproductive things like gathering at church to pray for their salvation against the plague. Of course, close contact, no social distancing, further spreading the pandemic, and also killing all the cats. Cats were thought to be emissaries of the devil. Of course, if you kill the cats, the rats spread. So continue with those Geisslerlied, sometimes played on slide trumpets, trombone, which is in the same family as the trumpet, but I simply don't have the mouthpiece. So it should sound a little higher. Yes. And those larger cousins of the slide trumpet were known at the time as sackbuts. Sounds like a football play, but they're simply small trombones used in church of all things. And we've heard them in the Michaud Mass and some other selections. In the Michaud Mass, they were doubling vocal lines, and they are considered to be church instruments. They were doubling lines, the lower lines as shawms. The oboes were covering the upper lines, and sometimes we heard flute as well in the Michaud or flutes. Penitente flagellants are found in the present day in northern New Mexico. So, Jacopo da Bologna and the late medieval, early Renaissance Ars Nova Italian madrigal. An interesting thing about madrigals and motets. Motets are lighthearted in the medieval period, and they get very serious later on. And the madrigals start very serious right here, and they get much more frivolous later. So let's look at the couple, shall we? And this one, Non al Sumante, is the only contemporary setting of our friend Petrarch, known in English as Petrarch. And check this text. It's okay to be erotic as long as you are safely back in classical times. Not did Diana ever please her lover so much when through such good fortune he saw her naked in the midst of the cool waters. Mamma mia! And once again, art does not necessarily move in a straight line. After the wonders of the Guillaume de Machaut, Missa de Nostra Dama, with the 4-part harmony, we're back in the 2-part. But there is sometimes a musica ficta. I've heard this beginning, and what key are we in? This is another D, a Dorian, maybe. Cadence is in C major by the end of the first strophe, and that's about as far as we're going to go. Could it be? I think it could be. So let's pretend that it's so, fa, sol, la, so. But I've also, and our recording will do that, but I've also heard recordings that do this with the musica ficta of the B flat, of so, fa, sol, la, so. But even there, I've had to go back to the Dorian version here. Fa, la, so, fa, me, re, do, re, me, re. And we've outlined the perfect fifth there. So I think we're on safe grounds. And the typical madrigal, the upper part is florid and the lower part rather more measured. And here we have it as so, fa, sol, la, te, do. And I have heard recordings using a musica ficta here as a ti, do. And later, even in this notation, it does show a musica ficta optionale right there. And we'll hear in this recording whether they do it or not, eh? Vincenzo da Rimini, madrigale, as performed on a portative organ, which is as portable as a pianosaurus, the only difference being that the other hand is used to pump the bellows to energize the pipes. There's no little metal bars as in this one. It's a chase piece, one part racing, trying to catch the other. So the caccia by Gherardello da Firenze, and that would be Gerard or Gerald of Florence. Why do we call it the Florence and the Italianos call it the Firenze? Well, the British and American people are actually closer to the original Latino, which was Florencia. So we're okay there. Anyway, here is the caccia. It is strict canon along the lines of Sommer is coming in, but check what happens in the lower part. And if the caccia is
a chase, a hunting song. This is about as hunting as you can get. Tosto c'è l'alba. As soon as the dawn of the fair day appears, the hunter awakens. Arise, arise, for it is now time. Call out the dogs. Here, here, viola, here, primavera, here. Up upon the high mountain, with the good dogs in hand and the pack are silent, on the long slope, each is in order. I see one of our best hounds sniffing. He must be on the trail of something. Let each one of you pierce through from all sides into the thicket, for the quail calls. Ah, that's what they're hunting. Ola, ola. Ah, you'll hear that in the music. The hind is coming to you. No, so they are hunting the deer. Carbona has seized her. Oh, grisly, and holds her in his mouth. From the mountain, he who was up there called out, now one, now another, and sounded his horn. Of course, there's no horn in this piece, but you will have an onomatopoeia, something that sounds alike it, and things like this have actually happened since the early to medieval period. Once again, the early notation is in neumes, with rhythmic modes, and so this is a rough translation, and this from the Historical Anthology of Music is notated in a 6/8. Our video will be mostly in a 12/8, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow! But this notation in 6/8, here is the main melody. And we are in F Lydian, and we start with Sol, La, So, So, Fi, Mi, So, Fi, Mi, So, So, La, La, So, 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 Fi, Fi, Mi, Re, Do, Re, Mi, Do. Takes a longer time to get there, doesn't it? And then, of course, oh, the perfect fifth, and everything in the top part, eventually the bottom part will do at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 measures beyond. So, 10 bar phrases. And how do we know it's actually in F Lydian? Well, there it is, the F. And so we had the perfect fifth. And late medieval, right? Could be early Renaissance. Definitely Ars Nova, the new art. And so the bass line, which is totally different than the other two, comes out like this. Do, ti, la, so, do, la, ti, mi, re, mi, do, and so on. And later when those cries to one another, you get to ayo, ayo, and where is that? We're looking around for it. There it is. And the tenors get very high. They're up here. Ayo, ayo, and that's me, 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 me. And you know, if it is done in one part, it will be done in the other part, and it is down there. And it's meraviglioso. So notice how this has gone beyond a mere round canon, strict canon at the octave, where we have a totally independent new part, which is really cantus firmus down below, and makes it more sophisticated, more modern, more the new art, more maybe even the early Renaissance.
Tosto che l'alba del bel giorno appare, i svegli cacciatori, su, tosto che l'alba del bel giorno appare, i svegli cacciatori, viola te, e il bracchetta piano e nella piaggia rodina ciascuno gli bracchi starà risata io sette giorni ciascuno dei nostri bracchi starà rizzato io sette giorni ciascuno Cavanna prese in bocca
Francesco Landini, blind keyboard player. Ecco la primavera, behold the spring, aspects of A minore, sometimes melodic minor with latido at the top of the scale in the bass line, and even A major, Magnifico. Also the era of Giovanni Boccaccio's Decameron, 100 dirty and sacrilegious stories told to pass the time while in quarantine during the bubonic plague. Und endlich Herman, Munke der Salzburg, and finally the monk of Salzburg, primarily brass instrumente. So this is a good enough chance to give you the whole Unbostel sax classifications of instrumentes. Ja,